Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to Redhead Redemption. So you know the drill, I come at you with all kinds of random videos all the time, and sometimes it's story time, sometimes it's gaming, sometimes it's just a little vlog, whatever. So today's video is something that I don't know if you guys will really care about, but I, for one, find this to be a major life development. So of course, you know, this is my channel, so obviously I'm gonna share it with you guys. Anyway, as many of you know, I didn't grow up with a father. I know, super cliche, ex-porn star / stripper, didn't have a father, surprise. To be honest, I never, it wasn't an issue for me. Like, my mom was quite a dad. Can I just say, like, she was two authority figures in one. I was completely, like, I didn't need another. I did not need another authority figure, to be honest. And I don't know, I just never felt like I was missing something. I was never really distraught in any way. I mean, I was curious. That was about it. I was just curious. Like, when I was like a kid, I'd be like, Mom, who's my dad? You know? Then when I was a teenager, I was like, Mom, I think I'd like to find my dad. And I'm just curious. But that was before Facebook was as ubiquitous as it is now. Like, you know, like back then it was pretty much just like people my age who are on Facebook. Now it's like all the old people are on Facebook and all the young people are on Instagram. This bitch. So, you know, it wasn't super easy to find people back then. And my mom did like look, you know, for, she did give me some kind of list of like names and addresses of people it could be, because she did know his name, but I just never really pursued it. I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed to. By the way, I know it's echoing. I know, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Like, this house doesn't have like normal little rooms in it really, and the ones that it does have are like closets and stuff. I don't want to film in there. So I think I have to like invest in maybe a better camera with like a wind mic thing on it, and maybe that'll make the echo better. If you know how to film without echoes in rooms, please let me know. And before all you guys say, oh, you should get little foam things for the wall, all the ceilings in this house are like 15 feet high, so I don't think I could cover like enough of the house in foam things. So there's got to be another way. If you know another way, please tell me in the comments. For now, please deal with the echoing. I'm really sorry. I mean, maybe I could do something in like Adobe After Effects to get rid of the echoing. Anyway, so I never had daddy issues. I never felt like, you know, I was gypped, or that I don't know. I feel like girls who actually had dads who weren't like, you know, the best dad ever, I feel like girls like that have more daddy issues than I would have had. Because to me, this was just, the norm was no dad. That's what my norm was. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. And my mom sure as hell played dad by like, I mean, as an example, she told me if I ever had sex before I was 16, she'd cut all my hair off. And and I was terrified. I didn't want to lose my hair. So I didn't have sex until I was actually about 17. I mean, I think she was just trying to be realistic, because she felt like, okay, she's probably not going to wait till she's 18. Most girls where we're from don't even make it past like 13. And if I was ever, you know, like wearing, like if I was ever like showing too much skin or something, she'd be like, Paige, change your clothes right now. Oh my God. So it's not like my mom wasn't like, you know, instilling some self-respect and stuff. So you know, she would even, like if I had a boyfriend or whatever, I'd bring the boyfriend over, and back then she smoked cigarettes. She doesn't smoke anymore, but she used to smoke cigarettes, and she'd sit on like the patio or whatever. We were in Florida, and she'd be like, Paige, leave him here with me, please leave the room. And she'd be like so serious, and the boyfriend would be like, and she would sit there and interrogate him and like basically threaten, like, you know, to not try to have sex with me or anything like that, or she'd like, you know, do something that scared him. I don't know, but she played dad, you know. So I didn't miss out on whatever dads do, really, you know. The thing I think I missed out on was having like a parent who was like always my friend, because I feel like if I'd had a dad, he would have always been on my side, and then like, you know, I would have won sometimes against my mom, but I didn't really win against my mom, like ever. But anyway, I grew up thinking that my dad and my mom had kind of had like somewhat of like a very short fling / one night stand. My mom had gotten pregnant when she was 19, and she wasn't gonna keep it, but my grandma like really wanted her to keep the baby and told her she should keep it and said how she'd help and all this kind of stuff. Like, honestly, it's a miracle I'm here, you guys. it's a miracle, because my mom was like ready to go take over the world at this point. We're very similar, what can I say? And then all of a sudden the only person saying to keep it is my grandma, because my mom wasn't really, you know, dating my dad. So I just kind of thought, oh, well, that makes sense. You know, he wasn't really someone you were dating or serious with, so you probably wouldn't try to, you know, have this relationship where you're sharing a kid, you know? And she pretty much said that he had met me when I was really young, like when I was like 6 months, and then when I was like 2, and, you know, she asked him a bunch of medical questions and stuff, and otherwise, you know, he seemed happy to just not be involved, and she told him she was just gonna raise me her way, and that was all, that was it. That was all I knew. She also told me he was in the military and he had already had another kid. So I don't know, it just sounded to me like, not that he, you know, didn't care, but just that he just, you know, was tied up in other stuff and didn't really have like a connection to my mom, so whatever. Short of the couple times in my childhood when I did ask my mom who my dad was, and I kind of explored looking for him, but not that hard. That's all I really ever bothered to do, and I completely forgot about it and gave up on it and just moved on and accepted it for what it was, into adulthood, right? And until about 2 weeks ago, my fiance's mom had been asking me about like my family and who my dad was, and I pretty much said like, I don't know, all I know is his name, and that he lived in Savannah, Georgia, where I was born, and that he was in the military. That's all I know. And then she was like, oh, okay. So like we go over to Mitch's parents' house, and he's gonna help his mom like take down the Christmas tree. And then just like really casually, she out of nowhere is like, oh, by the way, honey, I found your father. I'm like, what? I looked for him, but you found him on the internet? What? And she's like, yeah, I just put his name in on Facebook, and here's the guy, and he lives in Savannah, and he's got reddish hair like you. And it was like uncanny. Like she's showing me like my dad on Facebook, and I'm like, that's where my old nose came from, that's for damn sure. But like, but even you guys, like a lot of you guys say I have droopy eyes, which by the way, like fuck you, I like my droopy eyes, but I got my droopy eyes from my dad. Like I was like really blown away. And at this point I wasn't super sure, so I send the Facebook link to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, is this my dad? And she looks through the pictures and finds one when he was like you know, younger. She's like, yep, that's your dad. What the fuck? You know? So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to go about this, because at this point I'm thinking like he, you know, never really wanted to be in my life, so like, should I bother talking to him? I don't know. But I see on his Facebook profile that he's got his, you know, a son, and which by the way is my fucking brother. I have a fucking brother. Can you imagine going through your whole life and being like, I'm an only child, and really you have a fucking brother? So in my head I'm actually thinking, dude, I think it sounds way cooler to have a brother than have a dad, because all I know about the dad is that he just kind of didn't want to be involved. But the brother, I feel like, would be my friend slash, well, my brother, you know? I guess whatever brothers do. And like, so I was like, well, I think the way I'll reach out is I'll talk to my brother first, my half brother, and you know, I'll ask him about our dad, and if I should like reach out, if he would welcome it, like whatever, if I'm gonna be crashing some family situation, like I don't know. So I send a Facebook message to my brother, and I'm like, hi, I'm your sister. I was wondering if you could tell me about our dad, should I reach out, etc., etc. And he immediately like calls me through the Facebook app and is like, wait, your dad and my dad are the same dad? Like, yeah, turns out he had no idea who I was, which I was like, well, how did I know about you, but you didn't know about me? Like, I mean, I knew theoretically I had a brother, but I didn't like, you know, think it actually existed, that, you know what I'm saying? It was so weird to like FaceTime with him, because like we have the same fucking eyes. Like it was crazy, like with the droopy eyes, and we have the same like strong jaw, like we just like have a really square, strong jaws. Then he's got like a bunch of red, kind of auburn in his beard and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like, like we look alike, like holy shit, this is crazy. And we just get to talking, and it turns out he's also a badass fucking artist, and he can just draw anything he sees, like I can draw anything I see, and like neither of us have been taught. And like, is this shit genetic? Like, I mean, I know like genetics is really an interesting field, but I didn't think you can genetically pass on like artistic ability. This is crazy. Like, he's really good. He's legit really good. So we totally had a little bit of like you know, a bonding moment and stuff, and he says he'll talk to dad for me and kind of like feel out the situation, and then, you know, get back to me. I'm like, okay, dad, damn, I have a freaking dad, and he's like alive, and like I might talk to him. I'm like, wow. So anyway, dad says he's very interested in talking to me and to please reach out and, you know, whatever. So I call him and we get to talking and whatever. And turns out, you guys, there's some shit to this. There's way more shit to this story than I ever thought. Like, anyway, just listen. So basically, my mom, when she was pregnant with me, was actually dating another guy. She'd like stopped dating my dad. And she, at the time, wanted to like be with that guy. And she actually wasn't sure if I was that guy's kid or my dad's kid. That was the only two possibilities though. But she ends up figuring it out from my blood type. But in her head, you know, like this is a pretty awkward situation to be in. So she wants the guy she's actually dating to raise me and be my dad. So she actually runs into my dad in like a parking lot of like a bar or whatever when I'm like around 8 months old. And, you know, they're like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Like blah, blah, blah. And then my dad sees me in the car and pretty much at that moment, like figures out I'm his because I came out with a fro of red hair and droopy eyes. So he comes and sees me that night and I pretty much asked my mom, like, well, what do you want to do? Like, they're not dating or anything. It's been a long time since they've been talking even. And she basically says, oh, well, I want to raise her, you know, myself, and I want this other guy to be her dad. So I want to, you know, raise us as a family, which, you know, is understandable, right? That kind of makes sense. And it would be better for, you know, the guy and me if we both thought we were actually related and everything would go well. I mean, maybe she planned on telling him that I wasn't actually his, but for damn sure she wasn't planning on telling me at the time. And so my dad basically leaves thinking, all right, well, you know, she doesn't really want me involved, but she's not gonna like come after me for, you know, anything else. And, you know, my daughter's gonna get raised with like a normal family. Okay. So basically, long story short, there's a little more to the story, but it's not relevant for this video. But long story short, this whole fucking time, my actual dad thought that I was being raised by another man. So he says, even though he looked for me after like a, you know, a few 5-10 years or longer or whatever, you know, even if he A, couldn't find me because he didn't even know what my last name would have been, and B, even if he could find me, wasn't sure what is he gonna do. Is he gonna come crash his family? Is he gonna be like, hey, you know, you're actually my kid and whoever is posing as your dad like isn't really your dad? And to make, you know, the situation even crazier, he himself had found out when he was 35 that the dad who raised him was not his actual dad, and it broke his heart, and he didn't want to do that to me. So this whole time, I had a dad who did give a fuck, and I didn't know anything about it. You know, like I felt like, you know, the main reason I never, you know, once I was an adult, I wasn't gonna go look for my dad was because I figured he probably wouldn't give shit and probably be like, oh, well, hey, you grew up, well, good for you. I hope everything's going well. All right, well, I'm gonna go back to my life now. Like, that's what I thought it was gonna be like. And he was like so excited to talk to me and like, you know, really happy and like sharing a bunch of stuff about his life and like really just being awesome, like being very like ready to be my dad. I was like, wow, like this is like such a pleasant surprise, like holy shit. So yeah, guys, I have a fucking brother and a dad now. Surprise. And yeah, I've just been, you know, talking to them a lot and getting to know them, hopefully be able to visit them at some point in the near future. Now for the part that I'm sure all of you guys are fucking curious about is, do they know that I did porn? And can I just say, I was a little hesitant to reach out because I figured like I was not gonna be able to avoid that, you know, wasn't gonna just not be able to tell them. So I mean, I didn't tell them like immediately. I didn't just be like, you know, hey dad, I'm your kid and I'm an ex-porn star. Be careful, don't Google me. Like, and also the flip side of that is like, well, you know, I might be their sister and daughter, but like, would they think of me that way? Because if they do Google me, like that could be really fucking awkward. But you know, I did tell them, and my brother said he kind of like already kind of knew, which I don't know how that worked out. I guess maybe he Googled me or something, but he said he, you know, 100% doesn't want to like look at any of that. And with my dad, I actually like wasn't gonna tell him immediately. I was gonna wait a little bit, thinking, okay, he's like 50, you know, he's not gonna just go Googling my name or anything. That's, you know, people don't really do that, right? Anyway, basically he could kind of tell that I was like not telling him something, so he decided to Google my fucking name. And yeah, in case you're wondering, is it awkward for your dad that you never met but now you just met to find out you're a porn star by Googling your name? Yeah, it's fucking awkward. Like, to be honest, like when I decided to do porn in the first place, I didn't have a concern of if my dad was ever gonna see it because I didn't have one to give a shit about, you know? So I was like, I was really embarrassed. Like I was like, I did not want him to see that shit. But he had actually, you know, seen a lot of the news articles. Like if you Google my actual name, it's not like, it doesn't immediately come up with porn. So he saw just a lot of the stuff about me being in porn, and like I assume like some porn stuff. And I asked him, I was like, I was like pretty mortified. I was like, you didn't look, did you? He's like, I wasn't looking. I don't want to see that. Like he was being very dad-like about it. So I was like, okay. And guys, like, please don't say gross shit in the comments. Like, seriously, if you're gonna say something gross, like, go fuck yourself. But, you know, I did get to sort of explain the whole story and how I wanted to start a business, and that's why I did porn and blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know, I'm just really happy that, you know, you're in my life now, and I don't want to, like, have this come between us. And I think that if I had been there, if I'd have been able to be there, that I would have tried to intervene and, like, keep you from that. And I was like, oh my God, that's like really sweet. Like, aw, like I felt it was kind of sweet that he was a little, like, you know, felt a little bad that he wasn't there to keep me from doing porn. But, you know, once I've told him all about like the business and stuff, he's actually like really blown away and like and he's like so proud of me for being like really smart and confident and stuff. So I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. And you know, he's a guy, so when I explained what my company is and like what I'm trying to do, he actually got it and thought that was like a really smart idea too. And I was like, all right, well, cool. So, you know, and that's I don't really know what else to say about all that. I guess if you have some questions or something, like I'll maybe make another video about the situation or update it and whatever if you guys really want to know. I am getting my super artistic brother, who arguably I think is better than me. Like I think he's a little better than me at art. But he really wants to like design some merchandise for you guys, like imagery, RHR, bandit kind of stuff, which I've tried to do. Like I've tried to do it, but I can't design stuff of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I can design other things, but of myself, I'm just so like, I don't know. But he's already got like a lot of ideas. So hopefully we should be hitting 100K subscribers soon, and that's when I was wanting to like start releasing merchandise, because I felt like I'm officially cool enough to have merchandise, like if I hit 100K, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, yeah, I'm really so blown away and pleasantly surprised that I have like, you know, a dad who's like really proud of me and thinks I'm cool, and a brother who thinks we have like so much in common, and like it's crazy. It's really crazy. So yeah, I found my dad. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and thanks for listening to my motherfucking face one more time.